Hey, would you like me to share why, when I gave up on patient education, I doubled my retention, doubled my PVA, and doubled my practice with zero, no marketing, didn't once spend one penny on marketing and not 1 second outside of normal office hours. We doubled our retention and doubled our practice like that. Man, well, I started studying human behavior, and I'm going to show you what we teach at the Perfect Lifestyle boot camps, because we don't do patient education. We change belief systems, and I'm going to show you why we do that. Well, there was a study out of the Royal Society of Medicine done in 2003, and they looked at how much information did patients remember about what their doctor told them. Now, get this. They forgot 40 to 80% of what the doctor said immediately. And the other 20 to 60% that they remembered was mostly inaccurate. And then I saw another study. When you educate and you speak, oh, here's the left side, speak to that left brain, people forget 50% of the information you give them in 1 hour, 70% in 1 day, 90% in a week. Well, I was just like you. You got to tell them over and tell them over and tell them over, and they still don't do it. And some do and some don't. Some get it, some don't. But there's a variable. How come everybody's get it? Because you're talking to their left brain. Now, that seems logical, but here's how people learn something new. Pay attention to this. They learn something new in their right brain. Why? Because new concepts and principles, by the way, do you think a subluxated spine and nervous system, being the foundation of health and life to your body, actually the spinal cord being the lifeline and that energy controlling your health, and energy is a foundation of all health problems and all healing. Do you think that's a new principle in American and Western medicine, that you should do that first? Absolutely. Does that seem a little abstract to the average patient? Absolutely. That's why they're learning in their right brain. They're learning something abstract that's not familiar. Now, here's the problem. The right brain doesn't speak in logic and language. They don't speak in structure and logic. It has a different language. So then the question that I asked was, what's the language of the right brain? Well, it's analogies. Why? Now, this is from studying NLP, because when you have something familiar and then you have something unfamiliar and you bring those together, now what happens is they become associated. They become the same. And when it's already known, then it goes into their left brain, then it goes into their subconscious mind, and now it becomes a belief system that is associated with certainty. It's associated with an emotion. So what do we do? What's an example? That's why we say subluxation is like a dimmer switch. When you have a curve or hyperkyphosis, it's like stretching the spinal cord, like stretching a rubber band. Hey, does it get looser or tighter? Gets tighter. Does the diameter get thicker or thinner? Spinal cord under tension, where the diameter is getting smashed. It's supposed to work like a fire hose, but now it's working like a garden hose with 5 kinks in it. How much water is coming out of that hose? Not very much. That's why you're tired all the time. That's why your immune system is weak. That's why you have ulcerative colitis, all these things. We use analogies and we use metaphors. So what are metaphors? Metaphors also associate things, but it's kind of like a mini story, So the right brain language is also in stories. That's why the consultation, we call it the subluxation story. It's a story of the timeline of their life and progressive degeneration, that if they don't stop it now, they're going to continue in disease. And why did they even get here? Because of what their medical doctors, what their other pain-based chiropractors, what the physical therapists didn't tell them. It didn't tell them your spinal structure and that back pain is actually an injury to your spine that's injuring your nervous system. and your spine never formed right. Now you've had menstrual cramps your whole life. You have constipation, diarrhea, all these things, right? Because of what they weren't told. So it speaks in analogies. The script is full of analogies, speaks in metaphors. We have script full of metaphors. It speaks in stories. We show you how to be a great storyteller. That's the consultation. That's the exam. And what's the report of finding? Not a list of facts. It's their subluxation story proven by the objective findings. So the day 2 ROF is a story. It's a matter of having a conversation and questions. So that whole, now you're speaking to the right brain. Now they get it. It becomes coupled. It goes to the left brain. And now we're talking generational patterns. So what do? They bring in their family in the first 2 days. They bring in the extended family in the first week. And since we came back from the boot camp in Atlanta, retention boot camp, elite clients aren't getting kids 1 or 2 at a time. They're getting extended family. They're getting family referrals 3 and 4 at a time. So do you want to learn how to do this from day one? Because how you wire them on day 1 will determine what they do. Did you ever hear the phrase, you only have one chance to make first impression? Why? Because once they get an impression in their right brain and it goes over to their left brain and locks in there, now it's in their subconscious mind. Now it's hard to change it. So they have to know lifestyle from day 1, from the first phone call. And if you want to learn how to do that, I guarantee you, we could probably double your PVA. You don't have to go out and market, although, hey, I recommend social media. Go out and do that. Bring your culture out into the world. But you won't have to. You do it because you want to. Why? Because you're breaking generational patterns in healthcare. You're not finding health problems. You're looking for health patterns. You're breaking them, and you're getting the whole family tree into lifestyle. Wouldn't that just be a lot easier? Hey, we'll learn how to speak to their right brain. Hey, go to Elite Coaching LLC. I'm going to put a link on here and book a call for a breakthrough call. And let's see if you can work half as hard and create twice as much impact with all your patients. All right. Love you guys. See you soon.